There are more transactions we have now, and I wouldn't even think of doing anything without Andrew. It's not even possible. That was when we knew that he was the only one, if anyone, who could save this. The personal skills that he has, and I mean, I don't know how he found the lenders who would do it, because we're still amazed that that he was able to actually pull it off. It looked impossible.
And he was just a miracle, really.
Hello, my name is Ken. This is my sister Marion. We have this year used rapid bridging with Andrew to solve a pretty big problem that we had with our apartment in central London. It was a very, very difficult case. We actually never thought it would happen because on paper it looked like it was impossible, and we tried almost everything. And eventually it was Andrew and Rapid Bridging that was able to help us solve the issue. So it involved remortgage of, well, a bridging loan on the property due to a lot of arrears that were being owed on the premises, and it was about to be sold off by the receivers, and then in stepped Andrew and worked his magic. So my dad passed on the property to her, and that was the beginning. Around '08, I think it was, during the time of the financial crash, we ran into some problems with the investments that we made based on that was borrowed on the property. So that meant we then started to struggle with managing this one and servicing that mortgage. And that's where the arrears problems began. And at that point, then the arrears had piled to a point where the banks had now taken it into receivership. And that's when we now needed something more than just managing the property, because we couldn't even get access to it anymore, and it was close to being sold off as a result of all the mismanagement with the agent.
Someone we hadn't even met really,
Yeah,
but he just was so calming and
yeah,
very positive and so helpful. I mean, gave us so much hope that
yeah,
everything would be okay, and that really calmed us down.
yes,
And then I think when you're a bit calmer, you can think
more
rationally,
rational.
because at that point we're just like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm gonna lose this place, and he was just a miracle, really.
yeah. So he then took us through the whole process and then told us what we could do with it, because we didn't even know what was possible at that stage. Whether we could get it remortgaged, we didn't really think about bridging as such. And then he told us what the options were
How to
and
go about
how
it.
to go about everything. And from that point, it became a little bit, just when you feel someone is kind of lifting some of the burden, off your shoulders. So then, even though it wasn't solved at the time, we just had hope
We had hope.
that it would actually be solved in the end. So we went through a long process, and at this point, the property was already in receivership, and they were literally saying any day now it will be sold off. There was a point where we thought like we were just 2 weeks or so away from of losing the place. So. And again, Andrew then tried to calm things down. He actually spoke to the receivers at that point,
Yeah, he did.
and he was like the perfect bridge, because when you're talking to receivers and you are the one involved in the process,
Anxious,
you're anxious and you
just
so
losing it sometimes.
yeah. So but Andrew would step in, and he had a lot of experience as well. Yes, yes. So there was another twist in the whole process. Usually, when you have this type of problem, the way Andrew explained it to us, it would have been straightforward because they had valued the property, and the valuation was fine. So In fact, that's what gave us initial confidence because we knew that there was enough equity in the property to make sense to remortgage the place. But then the issue of the charges came up. There's a property that she had invested in prior to '08 that we weren't sure what the status was. What we knew was that she had lost it at the time. It had been repossessed. But we didn't know that there was still a charge outstanding on it. You know, we completely didn't know anything about that. As far as we're concerned, the property had been gone, you know, repossessed, everything was over. But now the company that owned the property had then put a charge on this one. And then Andrew and the solicitor acting for her at the time now uncovered this charge. I never knew that that was how complicated things could be. We said, what's the charge? And Andrew said they can't find anything. I think we just had the name of the
bank.
The bank, not even, is it the bank or even the name of the Royal Bank? Some anyway. We had maybe the name of the lender or the name of the builder or something, and then we couldn't figure it out. That was stressful because until we figured that what that charge was and how much, they couldn't do anything. You know, so we couldn't even move forward with it. That held us up for like weeks, probably months even, because we all kept trying to find what this charge was.
Just when you think it's about to be over, something else
comes in, and it was and this charge thing was just holding things back. And so from how we saw Andrew work during that period, especially regarding this charge, that was when we knew that he was the only one, if anyone, who could save this. But Andrew had to do a lot of chasing up. He had to be very insistent. He had to be creative as well, because there were solutions where maybe the solicitors didn't even think about. And then he would suggest, oh, why don't we try this or try that? Yeah, so his attitude was just solve the problem. You know, if there's a bottleneck, how do we solve it?